Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy to see you again. If you're new here, my name is Holly and I love talking all things personal finance. Recently, my husband and I got out of 6 figures worth of debt. So on this channel, I love talking about how we got out of debt and how you can get out of debt by living a more intentional lifestyle. So if you're interested in taking your goals from possibility to actuality, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and stay tuned. When we talk about debt-free journeys, it seems like there's so much negativity surrounding them. It seems like the only word that you're going to hear throughout your entire journey is no. Everywhere you look up, people are telling you what you can't do and what you have to give up on your debt-free journey. And I'm not saying that debt-free journeys are without sacrifice, but there is a way to work things within your budget so long as you prioritize them. So today, I want to talk about 10 things that I did not give up on my debt-free journey. And you know what? I still became debt-free. Sure, maybe it took me a little bit longer than if I had given up everything, but I'm okay with that. Made it through my debt-free journey. I still lived my life within reason. And I want to share with you that it's not just about the word no, that you can still have a life and be on a debt-free journey. The number one thing we didn't give up on our debt-free journey, eating out at restaurants. Yep, this was a huge one for us. When we first started our journey, my husband and I lived in New York City. And if you're familiar with the New York City lifestyle, you know that many people don't actually keep food in their apartments and that they eat out basically every single meal of the day. Granted, my husband and I were never that extreme. I've always been a big meal prepper, and so since we've been married, I've always been packing our lunches and maybe even making some dinners in advance. But we did eat out a lot, whether that was ordering in from Seamless or if that was going out to restaurants. We did do it definitely more than the average US citizen. But when we started our debt-free journey, this was a huge thing that we did not want to let go of completely. In a previous video, I'd actually covered Dave Ramsey's 7 baby steps. And on baby step 2, while you're paying off your debt, Dave Ramsey famously says that you shouldn't see the inside of a restaurant unless you work there. I'm actually gonna tag that video above. But Dave, I love you, but I'm gonna agree to disagree on this one. This was just too important to my husband and I. Going out to restaurants is just one of those things that my husband and I were not going to give up. We had a long journey ahead of us, and the idea of never being able to take a break and go to a restaurant or ordering in, that just kind of sounded miserable to us. So what we did do is we meal prepped even more. I meal prep almost all of our dinners, and we brought our eating out budget down. We brought it down by a lot, but we still had it in our budget every single month. But you know what? We always enjoyed it throughout our entire debt-free process. So to us, it was 100% worth it to keep it in our budget. Number 2, travel. We always traveled throughout our debt-free journey. Here's the thing. When I graduated college, I actually moved several states away to follow my career path. For my career in fashion, I had to be in New York City. So I then lived out of state from all of my immediate family and still do to this day. And just the thought of not being able to see them while being on my debt-free journey, that just kind of sounds nuts to me and not something I'm willing to do in any capacity. So throughout our entire debt-free journey, we have always made it a point to go travel to see family. But here's the thing, everyone is drivable, so we've never had to pay for airfare, just gas, and we're staying free. And a lot of times we can basically eat free if we want. Granted, we still go out to restaurants and we still do things. I mean, we have to go to Cedar Point when we're in Ohio. So we can make it as cheap or as not cheap as we wanted. But every time we went to visit family, we did always have a budget. In the summer, we made that budget a little bit higher because we tended to do more things. And then when we'd be home for the holidays, our budget wasn't as expensive because we just found we didn't need that much money because we were home most of the time. And throughout our journey, we've been so incredibly blessed that for so many family vacations, my husband and I have not had to pay much out of pocket. We've been able to go on vacations where either lodging and or food has been mostly provided for us. So I would say out of the past 4 years, there's only been maybe 2 vacations that we've taken that we've had to 100% fund, which is pretty incredible. So admittedly, we've been very blessed in that sense that we haven't had to pay that much for vacations. But when we do pay for vacations, whether we 100% fund them or if we have some things taken care of, such as lodging and or food, we do still keep a budget. So we can travel as much as our budgets and PTO allowances allow. Number 3, shopping. We haven't fully given up shopping. Now my husband, I'm not really gonna include him in this one because he doesn't need or want a lot, but for me, I'm a former shopping addict. I've talked about this before. I went to school for retail merchandising. I worked in the fashion industry for 9 years before working for myself. And buying clothes was part of my job. It was expected of me to wear stuff that was on trend and to have the latest and to have the greatest. That was expected. Granted, the luxury fashion house I worked for did give us an allowance in which we could buy some of their clothes with, but it wasn't enough for everyday wear. So I definitely used to do a lot of shopping sprees at inexpensive places like Forever 21 or H&M, but they definitely still added up. So since beginning our intentional debt-free journey, and since I took a major lifestyle change as far as my career goes, I haven't needed to shop as more, but the urge is still there. I'm a natural spender and I love fashion and I love clothes, and I think I'm always gonna love those things. But I've really found since starting this journey that I have needed and wanted so much less. And I've become more intentional in my purchases. And I think about things like, will I actually wear this in my current lifestyle? Will I like this a few months from now or next year? Or is this really eco-friendly? Like, am I just buying it to wear it once? And is that the best use of the Earth's resources? These are the kind of things I think about now when I go shopping. But I still go shopping. And maybe a couple times a year in the spring and the fall, my husband and I will go to the mall, go shopping together, pick up several things for the seasons, and then maybe throughout the year, I'll pick up a few things here and there. But clothing has always been a part of our budget, and it's just not something that I was willing to 100% give up, even though I did bring down that budget category quite a bit. Number 4, dyeing my hair. Now it's kind of funny because girl's got some gray roots right now, but I've always kept professionally dyeing in my hair in my budget. However, I will say there are 3 ways that I have brought down the cost of how much I spend on dyeing my hair professionally. 1, I get my hair dyed less frequently. So before our debt-free journey, I probably got it done maybe every 6 weeks. But once we started our journey, I was getting it done every 8, 10, maybe even 12 weeks. I was going that long between salon visits. Number 2, I found less expensive salons. Now this is huge. I used to easily pay $200 to get my hair colored, and now I'm gonna pay $50, maybe up to $100 every once in a while if I'm doing something that requires a bit more care. And number 3 is choosing a hair color that requires less maintenance. Now I have very dark hair, but I prefer my hair on the lighter side, whether that's a blonde, a light brown, or a red. I don't like my natural hair color. But luckily, balayage, and I hope I pronounced that right, has been on trend for a while, and that is a great hair coloring style that allows you to grow your hair out. So if you're unfamiliar with it, basically it's where your hair is darkest at the root and then lightens up as it goes down. And so with that, I can grow my roots out and it looks like it's supposed to be that way. With that hair color style, I've really been able to extend how long I go between visits, which has been a huge help for my wallet. Number 5 is home improvements. Now, this is another big one that a lot of people recommend putting off until you're done paying off your debt, with the exception of emergencies that come up, of course. But my husband and I are homebodies, and we want our home to be our sanctuary and a place that we love and is comforting. And if when we work so hard, we just want to come home to a relaxing space that just makes us feel happy. But we live in a condo, and with a condo, one, there's not that much space, which is good because then there's not that much to do. But the other thing about living in a condo is that we don't want to invest that much money into this place anyway. But there are little things here and there that we want to do to improve our time within our home and, yes, to increase the value of the home for when we eventually sell it. So throughout our debt-free journey, we have made little tweaks to our apartments here and there, and little repairs that weren't necessary or little upgrades that weren't necessary but that we wanted and made us happy. I will say we did try to do everything as inexpensively as possible, which generally meant doing as much as possible by ourselves and looking up instructions and looking up YouTube videos on how to do things. There are ways that you can still do little home improvement projects throughout your debt-free journey that aren't going to break the bank. So if that's something that's important to you, then keep it in your budget. Don't listen to other people who say you have to wait till your debt-free journey's done to make any improvements. Do what works for you. Number 6, which a lot of people are going to disagree with us on this one, but we leased a car. My husband and I were just moving from New York City, where we didn't need or have a car, and we were moving to New Jersey, and we decided to be a one-car household. So for us, we just really wanted a brand new and super reliable car where we knew if anything happened to it, we really didn't have to financially worry about it. So we leased a car. That was just the option that worked for us, and it's what we kind of felt safest doing. And you know what? I don't regret it. I'm not worried about it. Honestly, it wasn't that much. Like in the 3 years that we had it, it really wasn't that much in our budget, so I'm fine with it. We do actually now have a used car that we got after the lease was over, and it is paid for in full, and I have no regrets either way. I'm happy with our used car. I was happy with our lease. I don't know what we'll do in the future, but number 6 was having a leased car. Lucky number 7. So this one is probably the number 1 thing that everyone recommends fully getting rid of on debt-free journeys. Do you know what I'm talking about yet? It's cable. Yep, we kept our cable throughout our entire debt-free journey. I will say we did consider getting rid of it at some points, but here's the thing. We have Verizon, and in our plan, it covers internet and cable. And so we looked into it and how much it would be if we got rid of just the cable. And honestly, the price difference wasn't enough for us to want to get rid of cable altogether. It's something we enjoy. Granted, my husband and I probably, admittedly, watch too much TV, but we do watch TV, and just the amount that we are going to get back monthly if we fully got rid of it just really didn't seem worth it to us. Now, we've still questioned getting rid of it for other reasons, from time to time, and who knows, in the future, maybe we will get rid of it and only do streaming. And that's the other thing. With streaming, so many people get rid of cable and then get streaming services, but you get 1 or 2 streaming services and you're almost at the point of a cable bill. So it's just like, to me, it didn't make sense. To me, it didn't work with our lifestyle, and we kept our cable. Number 8, buying coffee outside the house. Now, I know there are so many different people and videos and posts talking about how your daily coffee habit is costing you X amount of dollars each year. I get it. I mean, a small leak can sink a great ship. I get it. I've talked about that before. But as long as you prioritize it, I totally think it's fine. Having a cup of coffee is just one of those things my husband and I like if we're traveling or driving longer distance, if we're taking a walk through the park on Saturday, or even if we're at the mall shopping for a while. We just like having that cup of coffee in our hands. But like most things, we have found ways to save money on our coffee habits throughout our debt-free journey. One of those ways is that for birthdays or holidays, we ask for coffee gift cards, and our family has just like really come to just expect that that's one of those things we want. So for birthdays or Christmas or even Easter baskets, we get coffee gift cards, which then we can use throughout the year and get coffee for free. We also sign up with the different coffee houses so we can get free coffees on our birthdays. And then finally, we just get it less often. I'm the kind of person, I drink my coffee black 95% of the time. Sometimes I'll get a latte if I'm out to dinner for dessert, I'll get a latte, or once in a while I'll get a latte, but pretty much I just like black coffee. That's what I drink every day. So for me, it's easy to just make coffee at home and take it with me. So because of that, I'm drinking much, much less coffee out. And my husband has just really tried to limit how much coffee he's buying out. Number 9 is giving for birthdays and holidays. Now, I know a lot of people on their debt-free journeys just stop giving altogether or do things that are free or basically free, like baked goods, something like that. And if that's what you choose to do, that is totally fine. I have no judgment whatsoever. You do you. But it is something that is hugely important to me and my husband, and something we have just always kept in our budget throughout our debt-free journey. So like for birthdays, admittedly, I'm a birthday princess. I just had my birthday 2 weeks ago or something like that. And I love celebrating it. I really, really do. And I'm not one of those people's like gifting or presents or something like the love languages, the 5 love languages. I forget what they call it, but it's something about presents. And that's not me. But for my birthday, I do love getting things that I normally wouldn't buy for myself. And it's just one of those things, like even my husband and I have this little tradition for each other that for the week leading up to our birthdays, we get the other person one small gift every day leading up to their birthday. And then on the birthday, there's a few more of the bigger gifts. And it's just a tradition we both love, and we want to keep it in our budget. And, if that's our priority, then that's our priority. And so for holidays, we also continue to give. I think naturally with one of our families that has just gotten so big, we do buy for fewer people now, but that was kind of a joint decision. That wasn't mine or my husband's decision. But for everyone else, we do still give to the people we used to give before. Our budgets have been a little bit less during our journey because we want to make sure that we're paying for everything in cash, that nothing is ever paid for because of a credit card, anything like that. But we still always give for Christmas, which is our biggest holiday of the year. And for me, I kind of grew up getting a little bit spoiled for Christmas. I mean, we always had very big Christmases growing up, and my brother and I were both so blessed to have these wonderful Christmases. And it's just kind of something that I've always continued to do. And I really, truly love spoiling my family every Christmas and doing as much as I can. Now, I will say we still, of course, have a budget and we still buy things with intention, but maybe, you buy something that someone normally wouldn't buy for themselves, or that they really want, or that they just can't save up for, whatever it is. Christmas is just such a big deal to us, and I just really, really, truly love spoiling people a little more than I normally would throughout the rest of the year. But always within a budget. And lastly, the number 10 thing that we did not give up on our debt-free journey is having parties and hosting people. Now, I'm not really talking about like the small things where you might have like one person over for like drinks. I'm talking about like actual parties. And granted, we only do this once, maybe twice a year, but even then we weren't willing to give that up cold turkey or 100%. Like I said, my husband and I are homebodies and we don't go out that often. So once in a great while, we love gathering all of our friends and or family together to celebrate a holiday or to just get together and make some memories. And when we have those parties, we might not throw them as frugally as a lot of other people. Like, we don't ask for people to bring things. We generally don't do a potluck style. Granted, if someone asks to bring something, we're more than happy for them to, or we're more than happy for someone to bring, you know, a bottle of wine or some beer or whatever it may be. But in general, we don't expect anything. And so my husband and I, we provide all of the alcohol, we provide all of the food, and sometimes other surprise activities we pay for. So it is just something that we prioritize and we really truly love doing, and we do it very seldomly, so we always kept it in our budget. I do hope this video has given you some motivation that you don't have to give up everything for your debt-free journey. And in fact, you might not have to give up anything altogether on a debt-free journey in order to succeed at it. We still paid off 6 figures worth of debt and didn't get rid of a single thing in our budget. Not one thing did we fully get rid of in our budget, because we just realized that our journey was going to be long, and to maintain that momentum, we wanted to stay happy. And for us, that meant being able to travel a little bit, being able to go out to restaurants once in a while, feeling pretty because I got my hair done, you know, things like that. And I just want people to know that just because someone on the internet tells you you need to give up X, Y, and Z in order to succeed at your debt-free journey, it's just not true. Please take these things with a grain of salt, and that these people are maybe saying that's what worked for them, because that's on our debt-free journeys. That's what we're doing. We're talking about things that worked for us. Do what works for you. Maybe if a suggestion sounds like it could work in your life, then take that suggestion and try it out. Maybe if there's another suggestion that you know is not within your values and priorities, then don't take it. It's totally fine. Thank you once again for joining me here today. I truly appreciate all the love and support I've received from you guys. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like this video, and go ahead and share it. See you in the next one, friends.